in. How is it going, everyone? Welcome to B-Rally 3, the B-Rally game for the Game Boy Advance. As you might be able to see by the graphics, well, it's only the language selection here, but I really like the way they put a different helm depending on the language. Obviously, we're gonna go for English, and create a save file. And for what I see in this game, well, obviously it's a Game Boy Advance game, so you cannot expect much when it comes to to graphics and, you know, in general for 3D stuff. It also seems that you cannot ask for flags either, because Argentina's flag is not here, though we have Brazil, which is the closest, so I'm picking that. Pretty weird considering that Argentina was a location in the previous game, but I guess not. So in terms of mode, you have B-Rally mode and B-Rally Cross. Apparently this one is more rally oriented and the other one is races, so we're gonna go for this one first. And for starters, you only have two cars, a Renault, a Volkswagen, and that's it. Everything else is completely locked, and they seem to be from other categories even, so I guess it makes sense that they are locked. So I'm gonna pick Volkswagen, because I like Volkswagen. Even tell you to sign a contract. Yeah, sure, we can sign a contract. And we start in Kenya. 5 stages, okay? You will see how a rally game, well, you also have configuration here, but I don't want to deal with that. We just work by default. You can tell what the graphics are gonna be on a Game Boy Advance, but considering that it's a Game Boy Advance game, I will say that it looks pretty good. I mean, I've seen other games that try to go for like this 3D perspective on a racing game, and in most cases you have like very, you know, low resolution graphics, like, you know, the F-Zero games, or even Mario Kart Maximum Circuit, right? And then on the other hand, when you see games that want to go for better definition on the graphics, you have shit like Cruising Maximum. That game sucks, by the way. So here it's kind of like, well, pretty much like that game, Cruising Maximum, but with actual, you know, at least for now, decent gameplay, right? Shame that there is no music, though. I mean, well, there is music in the menus, but no music during the races. It would have been too much for the Game Boy Advance sound chip. I don't know. Okay. By the way, the position you can see it on the top left. I'm right now first place and by 7 seconds, so essentially I'm obliterating the competition, but it makes sense since it's the very first stage. These are not races technically. I personally do like the way it looks. I mean, keep in mind that, well, obviously if you look at it in full screen like I am, the pixels are very clear to see, but this was meant to be played in a very small screen, so if you play this on a very small screen, this looks very good. So I also like the way it looks in full screen. I don't mind pixels. Alright. Wait, was there lowercase letters? I didn't see them. But whatever, I'm Gabi in all uppercase. So that's something that a lot of games pull off. That you're not allowed to pick uppercase, but like the CPU is. So it wouldn't be the first one that does that. So here, just like in the previous game, the jumps don't make you lose control like they do in the first one. So that's very nice. It also seems that you cannot, I was about to say heal, you cannot repair in between stages. So can you only do it in between locations, or maybe there was like something I should have pressed and I didn't, I don't know. Also, is there a copilot? No, right? No, you only have the arrows on the screen, but no copilot. Well, I guess technically the copilot is telling you what the arrows represent, but yeah, not quite. There are voices though, because you have the countdown and the guy that says checkpoint, and you don't have anyone saying easy right, easy left, that sort of stuff. And no problem. I mean, I wasn't really listening to it either. I just look at the arrows. Because even if I could listen very clearly to it, I will struggle to process that information in real time. Because I'm an ESL. But even if I wasn't an ESL, like even if, for example, the copilot was in Spanish, I don't think I could react to it either. I feel it's way easier to see an arrow than it is to hear something and then having your brain process what they meant. Well, in real life rally it is like that, obviously, but this is a virtual rally, you know? Got him. Damn, 19 seconds, holy shit. But it doesn't seem like you can do anything here. Like, you just press A and you're... Oh, okay, now you can. So it's in between two stages. So what is my thing doing here? Apparently some of these have some damage. Easy. But yeah, just like the previous game, you're allowed to repair your stuff, and it seems that as long as you don't crash, you should be more than fine. Probably. Now, I do wonder if in the first game, you know, that you had a track that was called Safari. I wonder if it was meant to be Kenya like this one. This one is supposed to be Kenya. But here at least they do tell you about the champs, but it's more of an anecdotal thing because they serve no real purpose. I guess it could be an issue if you have a champ right before a corner, but aside from that, it's not a big deal. You know, I'm actually positively surprised by how the graphics look. Like, for a Game Boy Advance game, it looks very good. To the point where I haven't played that many Game Boy Advance games, but I wonder if for games that have a 3D perspective, if there is a game that looks better than this one. Because to me this one just looks very, very good. I mean, obviously for games that are 2D based, you have a lot of very good looking Game Boy Advance games, but I guess at the end of the day you don't really have that many 3D Game Boy Advance games at all, simply because you're not supposed to use polygons, you're supposed to use all 2D sprites and stuff. So it's not a console made for 3D. So that's quite a choice, right? Because think of it this way. You have the first two games releasing for PS1, right? Now you have B-Rally and B-Rally 2 on PS1. B-Rally 2 also very close to the end of life for PS1. So you will think that B-Rally 3 will happen on PS2. No. Happens on the Game Boy Advance. Very weird. I mean, even weirder that it didn't happen for the PSP, because maybe you really wanted to make a handheld game, but why didn't you do it there? Well, I'm sure there is an explanation, and it involves the developers working in another game. On what other game? I don't know. Haven't checked. So it seems that my brakes are right. Like those are my brakes, right? The ones on the middle, because you can see on the right of the screen, like those are all like the parts of the car, and well, being green means that they are doing well, and yellow is that they are deteriorating. So the first one is obviously body, the second one is suspension, the fourth one is well, I mean, it's a driving wheel, but I'm assuming it means the steering. And the last one is most likely engine, so the third one has to be the brakes, right? Yeah, and they are deteriorating even more, but how is that possible? I'm not even using the brakes. Well, okay, see, in places like that I am, but they are deteriorating even though I'm barely using them. So that makes me think that it's maybe not the brakes. Maybe it's the wheels. So if that's the wheels, I wonder what the fourth one is supposed to be, because if we're talking about the steering being... Well, I guess the steering is not the same as the wheels. Well, we can check now, though I'm still 9 seconds ahead, so doesn't seem like it matters too much. Alright, but I need to repair him. So, yeah, they are the brakes, but... Oh, and this one was the turbo. I don't know how those are even damaged, considering... Like, the brakes, I barely use them. And yeah, this is the steering, yeah. I mean, I was right about everything except for the turbo. I mean, the turbo did look like a turbo, but it's weird that... It counts the damage of the turbo, but not on the engine. Seems a little bit weird. Unless it includes both on the same bag. Like, turbo implies engine too, I don't know. Or maybe it's that it doesn't include engine damage because... I mean, in real life, if you get damage to the engine, your car is kinda dead. I mean, the whole point is that the car is the engine, and everything else is like an addition. But yeah, maybe it's because of that. What was I about to say? I don't know. Like I was out to say something. Well, I don't know what I was out to say, but I do know that I'm winning this by a lot. No, I know what I was out to say. But I'm still not sure what it's supposed to be. I'm assuming that maybe it's an emulation thing or something. Like, see on the top of the screen, sometimes there is a bar across the whole screen, but now you only see it on the top left. I thought it was probably gonna be like I don't know, something related to the acceleration, but no. I mean, you have the tachometer on the bottom left. But I don't know what that's supposed to be, but I don't really care. I mean, as long as it doesn't occupy the whole screen, we're good. Right, this time with no damages, it seems. Fine. Hey, that was then 22 seconds. So did I beat everyone by more than 1 minute or what? How was it? Yes, actually by 1 minute and 44 seconds, damn. That's pretty sad. That's me and my co-pilot, apparently. I don't know why the camera is moving like that. Okay, interesting little cutscene. So I have 14 points. That's a weird point distribution. 14, 10, 7, 5, 3, 1, and then anything below is 0. Okay. Oh, and the game is being saved. Nice. Because there is no option to save manually for what I seen. Now we're going to Finland. And it says that it has a lot of jumps. Out here you are not the boss. We're gonna see who's the boss here. So do I have any damages? Nah, we're fine, we're fine. I wonder how long the championship is, because it didn't really make you pick any championship, you know? That's the thing. Like, you just pick the car and you are off. So I'm not sure what to expect. Like how long it could possibly be. And if there's only one, that's another thing. There, it has to be only one, right? It would have let me pick it otherwise. I do feel though, as I say, that the lack of music is a little bit unfortunate. It's not like it's the first racing game that I see without music. Just hearing the engine sound is a little bit boring. I could put music myself in the background, but I don't usually do that. I mean, I think I remember doing that only 2 times. One of them was during a Champ King stream, because in Champ King there are a lot of places that either have no music or just have like very quiet sounds as a replacement for music. And then the other one was a very weird game called Dust Loop, I think. No, it was called... Well, it was about sweeping dust. I don't remember the name, honestly. It could have been something similar to Dust Loop. But yeah, that game, because that game also in one stage it has no music, and I remember that I was tryharding it so much that it was long periods of time with nothing. So I could put music here, but usually those things I like to prepare beforehand. I could simply, I don't know, put like Gran Turismo 3 playlist on YouTube and that should be fine. I mean, I guess it would be more fitting to have actual Game Boy Advance music, so I could grab like F-Zero Maximum Velocity music. I guess it will fit with the game. So to me it's quite crazy to think that both this game and the previous one came after the first one, yeah, but I mean that the first game on the series is in the same series as this one. Because here the driving is so like so comfortable, right? Like it behaves as you would expect an arcade rally game to behave. And then you have the first one that it behaves the way it was. Like it not only doesn't behave well from an arcade perspective, but it's not like it's realistic either. So the first game really is the black sheep in the series of B-Rally. Oh, we have rain for the first time. Alright. Just repair that. That little sound on the repairs is a little bit loud. Right, so it's raining. So is the rain gonna move as you move forward? Not really. It basically just goes down vertically. It's pretty funny. It's literally just a vertical line of white pixels just randomized across the screen. Pretty funny. I mean, if you use your imagination, and even more so if you're playing it on an actual Game Boy Advance, yeah, I'm pretty sure that you can see it as rain, but it kind of looks like instead, to me at least, what you're doing is you're watching like some very old footage and you're seeing like rain on the footage. Speaking of which, you know that in the previous game, at the end in B-Rally 2, when you unlock the final car, you get a little footage from the rally car you unlock. That's a pretty nice footage. The problem is that YouTube doesn't like it, because originally it's that footage of that car in Pikes Peak is owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Channel, of course. And because it's owned by them, it blocks the video in certain countries. And by certain countries, I mean the USA being one of them. So, well, and my own country being one of them too. So I had to like remove a portion because of it. I really don't understand the mentality of these broadcasting companies. Like, are you really that much of a cunt that you don't allow people to use some 30-year-old footage that most likely nobody really cares about? So if anything, they are making you a favor for trying to spread it, right? But no, instead let's make it private. Let's, you know, keep it to ourselves. Like, it's such a stupid line of thinking. I know that rally is not obscure, but like, it certainly is not the most popular racing discipline, right? So I feel like anything that could help spread rally will be welcome, but no, you have these broadcasting companies being cunts when it comes to the rights of their footage. As I could understand if you demonetize the video. I mean, I don't monetize videos, so it wouldn't matter regardless, but if I did monetize them, I would maybe understand. Because, I mean, you own the footage, and me making money off a footage I don't own, I guess it's sure fair. But just outright blocking the video, like, you're not allowed to look at this, right? That's such shitty behavior. So my brakes are getting fucked, but since I don't use them, I don't see what the issue is. It seems that the brakes are the first thing that suffer when you hit the wall. Wouldn't that be the body though? Shouldn't the body get damaged there? I mean, I know that usually the hits happen close to the wheel, and that's where the brakes are, so I could understand the logic from that perspective, but I feel that, I don't know, it's a little bit of a stretch still. I mean, I don't really care. Can just repair it all anyway. Okay. I'm surprised they made it 5 stages per location and not 6, considering that you can only repair every 2, so it's like the last one ends up being a little bit, you know, out of place. So this game apparently has both brakes and handbrake. But the way the handbrake works is you have to press both the accelerator and the brakes at the same time, which is something that I'm used to do simply to brake, which means that if you just want to brake, you need to leave the accelerator. A little bit weird, I guess, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a Game Boy Advance. It doesn't have that many buttons, you know. Because the bumpers on the on the top of the Game Boy Advance are used for gear shifting, but obviously I'm using automatic transmission, so that doesn't matter at all. I guess in a rally game, being able to have manual transmission is important for the people that care. I will assume that in a game like this, the amount of people that will use manual transmission are non-existent. Damn, almost 2 minutes. I'm really competing against anyone here. The podium sequence is so dumb. I mean, it's not a podium, but it looks dumb. We're going to Germany. Beware of changes in road surface during the race. That's not a thing, dude. Stop lying. Hey, that's 100% not a thing.
3, 2, 1, go!
It changes in terrain during the race. Oh, I know what you mean. You mean that there are different terrains across the track. I thought that you meant that, you know, like the water was gonna dry or something like that, but no. It just means that you go through snow and then you go through more clear asphalt. But yeah, it is a little bit of snow. Still a crazy advantage though. 8 seconds. That probably hurt the car a little bit. Now, I don't know about the different terrains, but I do know that this terrain is very hard to grip on, without a doubt. Wait, I forgot, what location was this supposed to be? Completely forgot what it was. Maybe it was Sweden or something like that, right? I know that the previous one was Finland. Pretty easy to hit the walls here, so that's a problem. Okay. Yeah, I think that these guys won't be a problem at all. Just I don't know how long this championship is gonna be. See, I will appreciate some added difficulty right now. Would be nice. But what I do know is that the race mode where you actually have opponents in the track, that mode has different levels that you can pick, but this one doesn't, so I wonder if it's supposed to be a whole thing or not. Oh, for some reason my suspension got very damaged there. Not sure why. It's getting into red territory apparently. So I wonder if there's any randomness in the damage or not. Hard to tell. So quite ironic that this game, I think, allows more cars in the competition than the previous one, right? I think in the previous one there was a limit of 8. Here you can have 10. Well, in the races you still only have 4 though. Yeah, that's to be expected. Regardless of how bad I might be doing this, I'm still very ahead, regardless. Even with some of this being quite damaged, you still have those 50 minutes that don't seem like they are gonna run out. I do wonder if the way that you unlock the other cars in this mode like requires you to beat the other mode, the rallycross mode, because in that mode the cars are unlocked by default, so I mean I don't think it will make much sense, right? I will assume that they are two completely independent things, like maybe at some point during the championship you're gonna get contacted by one of the other companies to sign a contract with them, simply because the contract thing was something that appeared at the beginning. Though I will assume that if the other companies didn't contract me yet, they are a little bit dumb, because with how much I'm obliterating the competition, you will think that they will all want to sign me, but apparently not. Apparently they don't feel like it. Also, today is very hot. Yesterday it was starting to get hot here, and today is very hot. And that's thankfully not a problem with this game because it's a Game Boy Advance game, but the next game in the series, which is the B-Rally 4, which is a relatively modern game, playing a game like that while it's hot, that will be a problem. At least the good thing is that according to the weather report, tomorrow it's gonna be less hot, but maybe I pick a wrong time to play that game. No, but it's gonna be fun. Well, it's a game from 2018, so it's possible that my computer is not gonna have any issues running it. But I don't know. I also don't know how well optimized it is. Honestly, I'm really surprised that that game even exists in the first place. Pretty sure that in 2018, which is when it released, nobody remembered B-Rally, just like they don't remember it now. I'm surprised that they even cared to call it B-Rally 4 instead of just calling it something like, I don't know, B-Rally something something. I mean, I respect developers that actually remember their games and name their sequels according to the previous one in the series. But yeah, a little bit weird regardless, from a marketing point of view at least. Just keep in mind that this game is from, this one that I'm playing right now, B-Rally 3, is from 2002, apparently. So 16 years later, release a game called B-Rally 4. I don't know if many people are gonna remember that. I mean, it's a different story if it was a game like Half-Life, right? But yeah, it certainly is no Half-Life, clearly. Regardless of that, I do like when developers do that. I also like it when Mario Kart did that with Mario Kart 7, because before that game, none of the previous game had any classification. Well, the classification, I mean, they didn't have any number. So Mario Kart 7 is like, yeah, all of the previous ones, they all count. That's cool to me. It's a bad corner. I like the sound of the exhaust when you shift gears. Very creative noise to have with such limitations, right? It's just disappointing about the lack of music. That's certainly a blow, especially considering the previous two games had music during the races. I do wonder how the development of this game happened, because even if everything is 2D, I'm assuming that when they made it, everything was a 3D model. Just that they somehow later translated it to sprites so the Game Boy Advance could run it. We got another one of those. 42 points. Wait, I don't know how... Oh, we're going to France. One of the hardest of all rallies. We're gonna see about that. So far, all of this have been extremely easy, to say the least. Not so sure.
2, 1, go!
That was a sham. I guess I will only start getting scared when I go through a checkpoint and instead of having a green number, it shows a red one. That's the only way you will see me worrying. And there is also another thing that, differently from the previous two games, accidents here are essentially non-existent. Like, it's impossible for you to like hit a slope and have your car flip. But I'm assuming that having the car flip will be a little bit too complex for the Game Boy Advance to handle. Yeah, the thing is that, like, aside from completely breaking your car from crashing too much, there is really no like natural way to really waste time at all. Like, for the most part here, you're just gonna breeze through everything without much problems. So pretty sad that my teammate in Volkswagen is placing last place so consistently, you know. It does seem very consistent. I'm very curious to try the race mode, simply to see if the behavior of the AI there is, you know, harder than here. Though I only try a very small amount of that, and what I did see is that the collision physics with other cars is very bad, like the collision detection. I mean, I don't expect much more from a game like this, but from a Game Boy Advance game, I mean, but yeah, I don't know if it's harder or not, but I can definitely tell you that overtaking someone could potentially be more difficult than in the first game, though for different reasons. Got him. The irony here is that regardless of what you might think about this game, is that I think that this game for Game Boy Advance standards is good, which I mean says more about the console than anything else. But yeah, it's what I was saying the previous stream, the fact that usually you don't really have a reason to play Game Boy Advance games. Like, because for the most part, with the exception of Pokemon where, you know, the third generation of Pokemon was exclusive for the Game Boy Advance, you don't really have many other games that only exist in the Game Boy Advance and do not exist outside of it. Like, sure, you can have, I mean, technically this game in itself, right? Like, this game is not like it's the same as the previous ones, but in Game Boy Advance it's supposed to be a brand new game. But the thing is that if you don't want to play all of them and you just want to play whichever is the best one, you definitely wouldn't pick this one. You will pick the second one. So I think that... Oh, and that also applies to the other two Game Boys as well, like the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. Like, usually you don't have many examples of games where you want to play them no matter what, because they are most likely games on whatever series that you want to play in another console that is just... they are just way better games, right? Since right now, unless you own a physical one, there is not really any advantage on playing them on the go. Well, technically there could be. I mean, if you have a smartphone, I'm pretty sure that any smartphone can emulate the Game Boy Advance, but what I'm also almost sure is that any smartphone can also emulate a PlayStation 1. So at that point you might as well emulate PlayStation 1 instead. So the whole thing about playing on the go also wouldn't apply for that. This the good thing is that, differently from the previous game, the loading screens are almost non-existent, since I mean it's a Game Boy Advance game. Everything that loads from a cartridge and not a CD-ROM that is way slower in that regard. Not to mention that here we're talking about a cartridge that, if I'm not mistaken, it's 4 megabytes. So you don't have too much data to work with, even though, you know, perhaps the Game Boy Advance processor is also not that well advanced, ironically, but I'm pretty sure it can handle these little cartridges more than well, you know. I just hope that this championship is over as soon as possible, because the difficulty is non-existent. Like, there is no such a thing as difficulty right now. But it's fine. I mean, I don't mind starting out easy and then getting harder later. It seems that it's taking a while for the tutorial to be over. But that's assuming that it gets harder later. I will assume that with the heavier categories it gets... What I'm assuming is that the progression of this game is probably, at least in this mode, it's you unlock heavier categories and those are harder to win with because they are harder to use like in the previous games. But even then, I wouldn't know if the difficulty will come from the handling of the car or if it will come from your opponent's time or both. Because if it comes from the controls, I'm pretty sure that's something that eventually you will be able to get used to. And once you get used to, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be just as embarrassing for the opponents as it is right now, where I'm just completely demolishing them. Even these hairpins that are supposed to be like the hardest corners are pretty easy to do. You don't need to do anything out of the ordinary. It's not like you can even lose control. And I guess that's the most important thing, right? The fact that you cannot really lose control. So you take every corner without fear because you know that you're not gonna get into an accident. Oh, so this one is Sweden. So I guess the previous one wasn't Sweden. Wait, temperatures to -40? Is that real? Isn't -40 a little bit too much? Does it really get that cold in Sweden? I thought that was only something that happened on the North Pole or the South Pole, right? Was not expecting that to happen in Sweden. I guess it does. I mean, -40 degrees is... I mean, I cannot even imagine how cold that is. It feels so low that like my body cannot imagine it. I feel like I would instantly die if I were thrown into something that is -40. And I mean, forget about the driver, what about the car? Can the engine even work at this speed? Well, I'm assuming that clearly yes, because otherwise it wouldn't say that those are the temperatures, but I don't know, that just feels not real. Yeah, maybe it is, I don't know. And there are apparently people on the side spectating. Yeah, I don't know if I will want to be in the middle of a place that goes to minus 40 degrees. Because being inside the car, considering that you are inside something and the car itself is probably warmer than outside of the car, is more understandable. Being like in the middle of all of that in the raw, that doesn't seem like something you want to do, right? I personally wouldn't do it. Even less so when it's snowing. The previous stage it was snowing. Here something tells me that I'm probably gonna be... it's gonna show all the tracks in the game. Because at this rate it's showing way too many things to think that there's gonna be a different competition with different tracks. So I'm assuming that here you will go through the whole game. And well, for what I've seen on the race events, the tracks are not like this where there are trails. Instead, you have the, you know, the lap-based tracks. And the fact that the game calls it B Rally Cross also makes more sense. It's supposed to mimic Rally Cross and not actual rally, you know. Notice how I think that not in a single stage the time difference was lower than 15. Like it was always 15, or rather more than 15. Like, these guys never stood a chance.
3, 2, 1, go!
That's precisely why I want to move on to the rally cross mode. But this mode wouldn't be letting me. That's the thing, because it just keeps going. But even in corners like that where there is apparently no wall, the wall is there, it's just that it's invisible. Essentially having no risk seems a little bit pointless, because I guess the risk is the damage that the car can get, but I feel like even if you're playing like a madman and crash against everything, you're still most likely not gonna damage your car that much. But that's also another thing. Let's assume that you do damage your car a lot. Does anything even happen? because I had a couple of my parts go like above 50% damage, and I felt that my car, like the way it feels to drive my car did not change. So does it even make a difference? Unless if the damage reach 100%, like you lose automatically. That's the only thing that I feel that will make sense.
Go.
I was gonna say that because in that case the damage is just cosmetic, but not even that, because there is no visual damage, and obviously I wouldn't expect there to be visual damage in a game like this, but just a little bit weird.
Checkpoint.
Oh, that's a big ass jump. Very, very big jump.
Checkpoint.
So I haven't really noticed that much of a difference between the different terrains. I know that there is, at least admitted by the game itself, but it's not really something very noticeable. I mean, even if it was noticeable, as I say, with the fact that accidents are not really punished at all, it doesn't matter whatsoever. Okay. I wonder what happens if you misclick and you go to quit. Like, does it quit like at the first try without asking if you are sure, and you just lost all the progress that you did? Because even though it might not seem that it's been that long, it's been an hour since I started playing, so I don't know what this progress is gonna do, but I would say that losing all that progress wouldn't be very nice. But at the same time, it's saving between every location, so I guess I wouldn't lose everything, but...
Checkpoint.
Right there I didn't even use the brake, I simply lifted the accelerator and that was enough to stop the car like that. That's also another thing that it's very weird. Like, by simply lifting the accelerator, a car going at this speed is not gonna slow down that much if you don't use the brakes. Here it seems that lifting the accelerator is as if you just press the brakes, you know? Like right there, I did not press the brakes a single time. But it didn't seem like it mattered. How was that? So do we even have more locations, or is France the last one? So for what I'm seeing, the points that you get at the end, well, actually there is more than enough room for 3 digits. Damn. Oh, but I beat it. So I received some emails. They are probably contract offers. So you have the Fiat team, Opel, Citroën, and Subaru as well, and the USA one. So when you say next season, do you mean that it's the exact same thing but with a different car? Because if that's the thing, I couldn't care less, you know. Well, some of them are still locked. But wait, didn't they say that Citroën was one of them? Well, I guess this Citroën. So what happens if I go back instead? You should go to main menu. Okay. Well, in that case, I'd rather try this mode, because something tells me that the other mode is just gonna be the same shit, like just with a different car, and then you unlock the remaining cars, but I have no reason to do that, especially when in this mode, that is the racing mode, everything is unlocked, and well, what's not unlocked are the... Oh, you have a lot of... well, 5 in total. They call it license. I don't know why they call it license, but here you can pick every single car in the game. So because, oh, actually, no, not every single car. Actually, here it's the ones from this category, but the thing is that they are all unlocked. So which one would I want to pick? I guess the Opel? Or the Fiat? No, I think I'm fine with the Opel, yeah. Sure. And this is actual race, like it's not time trial, you actually compete against other cars. And as you can see, the track is a closed track with laps. So that doesn't mean it's gonna be any less easy, but at least it means that it's more engaging, I guess. And I'm assuming that maybe when you move on to the other license, as the game calls it, there's gonna be like you're gonna be able to pick the other car categories probably. Man, look at the minimap. I can guarantee you there is not such a thing as difficulty in this game, as like a difficulty setting. Like I look at the options, well in fact there are not even options in general. Like yeah, you can configure your car once you're already into a championship, but when it comes to configuring the game itself, there isn't really much to configure. I will definitely say that the game will benefit from a difficulty setting. You could also say the same thing about the previous game, but the difference is that the previous game, like as I say, accidents are very punishing, so I guess that's what regulates the difficulty. You have enough room for error with the AI being relatively slower than you, but the moment you fuck up you get punished heavily, but in this game you don't even have that. Boost bonus, what's this? Huh? Wait, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Boost bonus? I mean that on top of how easy it was, I also get a boost. How do I even use the boost? There is no button for a boost. Unless you're telling me that the brake button becomes a boost, but no, it's being used right now. Well, I didn't press anything, it just got used by itself. Well, that's even weirder. What? Maybe it's like DRS that it gets activated in a specific zone. Though, unlike DRS, I didn't press anything to activate it, so... I don't think I needed the boost. I think that this was easy enough without the boost, so... was no need to go for something like that. Also, isn't this the exact same track but in reverse? I think it is. It did seem like it's the same track but in reverse. Once you use the boost, it's fully used, though. That's also very messed up, because if you somehow manage to perform badly, you don't get anything, which means that the boost is even more useless than you would think, because you only get the boost when you perform well, but if you're performing well, you don't need the boost. If anything, you will need the boost if you are somehow performing badly. I don't see how you will perform badly here.
Finish.
Yeah. They didn't even reach the checkpoint when I reached the finish line. It's crazy. Oh, and now what? So I got the regional license. I thought it was gonna be like a tournament or something, but it's basically a race in straight and in reverse. Hold up. Before I go to the next license, let me double check if there are no difficulty options. I don't think they are. Like, I checked the options and... Oh, you have control settings. Oh, you even have the credits. And then reset to 0. I like the way that it says that. Like, instead of erase data, it says reset to 0. Sounds even more, like, threatening, right? Reset to 0. Hold up. Was this? No, I fucked up, right? Hold up. No, it's fine. It is the regional, right? Wait, well, wasn't that the track I just played in? Well, they look similar, but I don't remember that corner. I'm just gonna go to the regional. I feel that I'm making a mistake here. Let me pick the Citroen. Okay, never mind. This is a... Okay, but hold up. That means that the logo in each license is wrong, because this is the track that was on the previous license, right? And the one that is on this license was the previous track, so that's a little bit weird. You will think that that's something that they wouldn't get wrong, but I guess they did. So the hard thing, if you're behind these guys, is overtaking, but once you overtake, they doesn't seem like they have any way to overtake you back. So what are these licenses even for? Maybe it allows you to play in more time trials, but I don't see how I could be interested in playing time trials in the first place, since the previous mode is already pretty much time trial, you know. So this one might as well be time trial too, with how these guys cannot even get close. Unless the other, like the following license are harder, I gotta say that I'm a little bit disappointed with this game. Not like I had big expectations from a Game Boy Advance game, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Expected something more. I mean, I wouldn't really say that I expected something more challenging, just something less sleep-inducing, you know? It's fine. I guess the moral of the story is stay away from the Game Boy Advance. So wait, what was the previous bonus that I got on the... There was a bonus that I got on the previous one that I didn't get here. Which one was it? Was it that I overtook them quickly or what? Not sure. Or maybe no hits, something like that. Well, not like it matters. So the question is, when does the boost activate? Let me see if I can find... Maybe when you get first place? No? Unless it's when you press up or something like that. Okay, I think I know when it happens. I think it happens when you leave the accelerator and press it again. Kinda like if you double press the accelerator, right? That's... Well, it's not the first time that I see a boost being activated that way, actually. I can't remember what game it was, but I think I remember a game that had a boost mechanic that was activated like that. But actually, it might have been Cruising Maximum now that I think about it. That's certainly not a game that you want to be compared with. Well, to the game's merit, at least the opponents here are closer than in the previous one. I don't know if that's because of the car being slower, since for what it was advertised it has less horsepower than the Opel that I picked before. But I guess technically they are closer. It's just I don't really think it makes a difference, you know. I certainly don't think it does. They were certainly at least closer than in the previous one. Well, what? But what do you mean 5 seconds and the other one 16? They finish at the same time. And the game is just lying right on my face. Pretty cool. Well, on the right side, this mode is gonna be beaten very quickly, but I don't know if that's even a good thing, because that means that the only mode that remains later will be the championship mode. So the weird thing is that you can only pick these cars and not the other ones. I don't know, I could pick the Fiat. Apparently this is the worst car, just looking at the horsepower, so maybe it's gonna be harder with this. I doubt it though. If in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the horsepower is pure bullshit anyways. In the sense that the stats don't mean anything. It's simply what the car in real life has, but it's not something implemented into the game. So far I'm struggling to catch the first place, so I guess for either the car itself or, you know, the fact that it's supposed to be a further stage, it seems like it got slightly harder. Though very slightly, because I'm already first place and I don't think I'm losing it. Yeah. I wonder if once you beat every license, if it's gonna unlock like racing with the other faster categories or not. Maybe they didn't even program racing with the other categories. Like they only program it with these guys. Well, maybe it's because these are the only ones that participate in rallycross, and the faster categories simply don't. No, but I'm pretty sure that there was a Subaru Impreza that did participate in rallycross, so I don't think it's about most likely scenario is that they just got lazy. That's what I'm willing to believe. Well, don't even show me the boost. 16 second difference, so I don't think whatever supposed harder difficulty really happened. Yeah, that's the issue with the boost. Like right there, I released the accelerator, not because I wanted to use the boost, but because I wanted to take the corner. That's how you use the boost. Though I don't even, like, I don't know what they were thinking with the boost though. It's not like they are faster in this second stage. They are the same as in the first one, you know? Well, actually, it might be that in the second stage they might be faster, but the difference is obviously not significant, though maybe I'm also pulling that out of my ass. Like, I'm probably trying to give the game more credit than it actually deserves, you know? I feel like that's what's going on. Just that when there is a, you know, a franchise that I like, seeing a bad game on it kinda hurts. I mean, I cannot really call this one bad simply because, as I say, it's a Game Boy Advance game. You cannot ask much from it. And as I also say, for a Game Boy Advance game, this looks very good. Yeah, unfortunately, not much of a reason to play it. It is what it is. But there are only 2 more licenses, so at least that's that. Oh, hold up. Oh, now you're allowed to pick the faster cars. It seems like you're allowed to pick them in... Well, maybe it automatically moves on to the next category, right? Because if I were to go to, for example, the first one, the departmental. Okay, yeah, so as I expected, the further you go, the faster the categories are gonna be. So it's the first time we're gonna be using one of the fast cars. So you have, and the 200 seats is still there. I mean, I can pick the Impreza. No, let me pick one that I don't have in the other mode, which, for example, is this Citroen. Since the Subaru, I'm most likely gonna pick it for the other mode. Might as well pick whatever I cannot pick on the other one. So, since these cars are faster and belonging to a different category, I will assume that they are harder to handle, right? Well, in the previous games, that's the case, yes. The heavier the category, the harder it is to handle them. In this one, well, not so sure about that. Doesn't seem like it's that hard to handle it at all. It does seem like the AI, however, is way closer to you here. But when it comes to handling, it's pretty much the same thing, just that it's slightly faster. Well, in that case, that will mean that the other mode, where you actually do rally stages, if you pick this faster category, it might be harder to beat simply because the opponent times are most likely gonna be higher. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Let's just say that. Now the surprising thing is that when you beat that other mode once, you not only unlocks the cars from the faster categories, but you also unlock some of the ones that you didn't have from the slower categories. But I don't see what's the point of that. Well, yeah, technically these guys were closer than the slower category, but not really by a lot. Well, and according to that, no, actually no, like actually still 16 seconds difference. Well, alright, so here I'm gonna try to not lift the accelerator so I can use it on the straight, so I can use the boost on the straight, I mean. Is that the straight here, since it's the same track in reverse, it's still a long time to get there. I mean, it's whatever. Because it's not that I want to use the boost, it's simply that I don't want to use the boost in a... Damn, I jump over him. I don't want to use the boost in a bad situation, like unwillingly. So that was an interesting interaction, because it means that you can jump over a rival, which means that the rivals are not simply rigid obstacles that occupy the whole vertical space. Like, it seems that there is an actual hitbox that it sits within where they are. And well, you might think that that's logical, and yes, it is logical, but some games don't do that, you know. So what's the point of the checkpoint here? You can see that there is like an orange lane, but I don't see it fulfilling any purpose. Because it actually is not a checkpoint. I don't hear the word checkpoint when I go through there, and I also don't think anything happens there. You know? And maybe, and especially considering the boost mechanic, one thing that is possible is that They might have had a lot of ideas that they ended up not implementing into the final game. Obliterated again. That means that there's only one more license. I kind of wanted to see which car I don't have, like which other car I don't have unlocked on the other modes, just so I pick that one here. Let me check real quick. So, the Ford Focus and the Lancer Evo. Actually, all of them except for the Impreza. I just realized. I unlocked all of the slow ones, but of the fast category, the only one I unlocked was the Subaru Impreza. That's crazy. Alright, well, in that case, I'm picking the Ford Focus. Simply because the Lancer Evo, I used it in the previous game, and so I did the Peugeot 200 seat, so might as well go for one that I have. Well, technically I did use one Ford Focus. It's just that it wasn't this one, I think. Alright. Oh, and this one is a snow, the final license race. It feels weird for me to call it license race, because I still don't even know what license we're talking about here. Like, license to do what? This is not like in Gran Turismo where the license is there so you can participate in events that otherwise you cannot participate on. Here I'm pretty sure you can participate in everything. But yes, this license you need to beat the previous one to play the one that comes afterwards, sure. But like, you unlock a license to play another license, but the license itself doesn't seem like it's for anything. That's weird. It's whatever. So be it. Yeah, I'm assuming that here the AI is gonna try to go the fastest it can possibly go. But I don't think that will be enough for you. Well, since at the end of the championship it seems that you unlock 4 cars, it's pretty clear that if I beat the championship with the Impreza, I'm most likely gonna unlock the other 2. Though I do wonder if the seasons really go up in difficulty or not. Kinda have my doubts. But considering the time remaining on the stream, even though I don't think there is any point on doing another championship, I guess might as well do it. As well, there could be a point. If the following season is indeed harder than the previous one, at least there's that. I don't have much hope for that being the case, but considering that at least in this mode the difficulty is increasing even if it's not really by much. Okay, that 16 seconds is bullshit though. That wasn't 16 seconds, that was less. So I guess that you cannot even trust that number there, huh? I also wonder if there is a way to jump start here, but then again it's so unnecessary that even if there was one, who cares? Not like I will use it anyways. Or rather, not like I will make use of it anyways. The one weird thing about the hitboxes of this game, well, you could see it there, but essentially they might respect verticality, but they don't respect the whoever is behind or ahead. Like, if you're behind them, obviously you're gonna crash and you're gonna go slower. But if you're ahead and they crash into you, it still counts as if you crash into them, which essentially makes it, you know, very messed up. At least it makes it harder, so something that I welcome. Only a matter of overtaking them convincingly once and they are not bothering you again. I did use the boost in a bad place. Like, I should have used it after overtaking them, but who cares? At least that made the race slightly more exciting. It wasn't obvious if I was gonna win or not, so there is at least that. I'm pretty sure that right now it is kinda obvious that I am indeed gonna win. Seems pretty clear. As clear as the snow that you can see here. Okay, so I got all the license. What do I get as a reward, if any? Do I get any reward? Well, at least there the time was shorter. Yeah, I won all the license, so what about it? Do I get a prize? No, you get shit. Wait. Oh, I was about to say that the music break, no. Okay, if you enter here again, it's not like there's gonna be a secret license. That's all of them. Well, that was pretty sad for a race mode, but I guess the only thing left to try is entering the, well, this be rally mode, but with the faster category, which in this case the only one I can pick is the Subaru Impreza, that I probably would have picked it anyways, even if the other ones were available, but here you don't have a choice. So yeah, I want to sign the contract. I don't know why they clarify that it's USA though. Well, here actually you start in Finland, but in the previous season you started with Kenya. I don't think the stages themselves are gonna be different, right? Or are they? Oh, you also have the best time to compare, but I mean, theoretically you should be able to obliterate the best time here. Theoretically, because this car is supposed to be faster than the Volkswagen. But what really matters here is when you get to the checkpoint and see exactly how far ahead or behind you are. Okay, that's not a bad difference. That seems like at least the CPU is trying a little bit to compete, you know? Even if it's just a little bit, it's certainly better than nothing. Now it feels like they are trying a little bit less, though. In their defense, this is a very easy track, so I guess there is not much of a different way that you could make this harder without making it impossible. I mean, no, there is, but yeah. Well, here at least the final difference was a lot smaller than it was in the with the Volkswagen, so that also makes me think that perhaps the next season will also be harder, which is a problem because that will mean I will have to play it to truly say that I beat the game, you know. But it doesn't seem like the game itself care about being beaten in the first place, because differently from the previous game, you don't really have a screen that tells you the progress. And the credits, you can view them at any time, so I kinda doubt that they are gonna roll by themselves. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna be worth it, though. I could at least take a look at the next season and see what the time difference is gonna be, because if I get into a checkpoint, the time difference is like 1 second or even something that is faster than me. I guess that will be something worth trying, but judging by this season right here, I kinda doubt it. But I don't know. Maybe I will be wrong. You see, usually at this point of the trail, they were already very heavily behind me, but here it's only 5 seconds. I guess this one is gonna be slightly harder. I guess the real question is, regardless of the difference, how like if they are gonna be able to win a single stage. If there's gonna be a single stage where I'm not gonna win, because that will be surprising. I mean, so far I won absolutely everything on the first try, without exception. But it might be possible that here it might not be the case, right? It's a possibility. But you know, this also reminds me, though, I guess to a lesser extent, but reminds me to that Ace Combat game, like Ace Combat Advance, that is essentially, well, an Ace Combat game for the Game Boy Advance, that you obviously compare it to the actual home console Ace Combat games, and it's like, it feels like a cheap parody, and not even a parody, because doesn't really resemble Ace Combat at all. It's just like a very generic and mediocre shoot 'em up. Well, I guess to this game's credit, this one does resemble V-Rally, but it unfortunately doesn't really have anything better to offer, or even anything different to offer. I guess the only thing that it has to offer is that the cars are more modern compared to the previous games. It's, for example, this version of the Subaru Impreza is supposed to be from 2001, which is the year that this game released, right? No, sorry, the year before this game released. This one released in 2002. Yeah, I don't think that that's worth it enough, especially considering that I also think that just like in the previous game, cars from the same category do not behave differently. So like this car is obviously faster than the Volkswagen, but I'm pretty sure it's the same as the other ones that are from the heavyweight category. Also, that was a very bad corner there. That probably costed me some seconds. Probably. We will see, maybe no. Yeah, it actually did, look at that. I mean, it was a very bad corner after all. I can't believe that I'm seeing some resistance here for the very first time. I do wonder though, that thing that said plus something, did it mean in comparison to the third place or in comparison with the first place? Hard to tell. Oh wow, I'm actually falling behind. I guess the difficulty that I asked for is here. Oh, this is the second stage, well, technically the fourth stage of this play, so that means that I keep the previous advantage to try to counteract this disadvantage, I guess. Well, I didn't get first, but by only 1500, so should be fine. Oh, and the other one was another Subaru, so supposed to be a teammate, don't worry about it. But that's the first stage I didn't win. Or rather, the first thing in the whole game I didn't win. So that's a step forward. For difficulty, I guess. But yeah, I don't know about the... I don't know the overall thing, because these times are only relevant when they are all added together at the end of the fifth stage. And that one, considering the insane advantage I have, will still be my victory. In the previous one, it only wasn't my victory because I messed up one of the corners at the beginning that made me lose a lot of time. It was a 100% dumb moment from me. I don't think it's something that the AI deserves the credit for. Definitely not. Seems that whatever advantage they had in the previous one completely disappeared here, and by quite a lot. But it's as I say, it was because of that dumb mistake I had, not for them actually playing better. I still can't believe this cutscene being so dumb. Because it is dumb. Also, how is it going, Sunshine? Oh, wait a second, we didn't have Portugal last time, right? So I guess that in every season the tracks can actually be different. I was not expecting that. I thought it was just gonna repeat the same tracks as the previous. Or maybe we did have, because it says best time. Did I just completely ignore Portugal? I guess I did. And maybe that's the one location that I was saying. I don't know which one this one is. At least that best time is something that is by default. Actually, I don't know. No, maybe they are all different tracks. Maybe even the previous one is all different tracks after all. It's a possibility. I'm here playing B-Rally 3 though. As you can see, it's... I don't think it really gets in the level of B-Rally 2. That's pretty clear. I guess if you own a Game Boy Advance, it was quite something. Not too bad as it's the weekend, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately over here, as I was saying earlier, the heat is slowly trying to come, and it's something that I suffer a lot. I really hate the heat. And it's not like it's that hot, it's like 28 degrees. Like it could be a lot worse, but considering that it's not summer, I will say that it's a little bit hot. Especially considering that tomorrow the temperature is supposed to go down to like I think it was 17 degrees. That's a very big difference from one day to another, you know. Finish. No, to be fair, I don't remember any of the tracks in the game to be like, oh yeah, this one I already played it. I don't remember at all. So that's a problem. And what I'm trying to say is that I don't remember the layout. Love the heat, UK weather sucks. No, I personally absolutely hate the heat. I mean, it's not like I'm a fan of extreme cold, but it would be nice if the whole year it would be 20 degrees, you know? That would be pretty nice. I guess that's an impossibility. If it could be 20 degrees all over the world at all times, it will be very sweet. But we cannot have that. That will be too good, you know. That was a good corner. At least that was a smaller difference. Like 4 seconds is not that exaggerated of a difference, I guess. There's at least that. It would be nice if there was a button that said repair all. And if you don't have enough time to repair everything, that it chooses whatever it feels like. Going one by one is a little bit annoying. I was playing B-Rally today and it controls so well, especially for a PS1 game. Yeah, well, one thing I can tell you is that it certainly controls way better than the first game. I mean, that's not saying much, but yeah. It certainly controls way better than the first game. And yeah, it also controls very well for a PS1 game. You gotta keep in mind that it was also like a very late PS1 game, so it has the benefit of simply like having, like being at the highest point of the console. But yeah, it is very well done. And not to mention, it's also a very pretty game. Like, it looks fantastic. I don't know if I will say that it's the best looking racing game on the PS1, because I'm pretty sure that Ridge Racer 4 still looks better. But it looks still very good. I mean, they are two different kind of games, so it's kind of like a bad comparison, but I think that it's very close regardless. Like, if I had to pick what's the best looking game on the PS1, it's probably one of those two. Either Ridge Racer 4 or V-Rally 2. Because the other option will be Gran Turismo 2. And Gran Turismo 2 does look very nice, but I still think that in terms of art style, because maybe polygon-wise Gran Turismo 2 is superior, but in terms of art style, the other two games are a lot better. That's not to say that Gran Turismo 2 looks bad, but I think I prefer the look of Ridge Racer 4 and V-Rally 2, yeah. Well, then you have games like Crash Team Racing. Crash Team Racing is also a game that looks fantastic. It's just that that's like a completely different type of look. Like, that's a cartoony look, right? Cannot really compare it to games that try to look like real places, even if the places themselves are not real, right? Ridge Racer 4 push the console with this having an art style. Yeah, it basically, it's the perfect thing about Ridge Racer 4. Like, aesthetically it was a bullseye, right? Like, it hit every spot perfectly, like very well. I just wish that the gameplay wise it was more interesting, but it is what it is. Because even if I know that it's a minority opinion, I think that Ridge Racer is still one of the best Ridge Racer games in terms of gameplay. Well, and the way it looks, Ridge Racer also looks fantastic. So the difference is that Ridge Racer is only one location. That, yes, has different variations that go to different places, but the whole thing is only one location, you know. I guess it's quite different in that regard to Ridge Racer 4, where you go to multiple locations, right? So yeah.
3, 2, 1, go!
And ironically, this game that you're seeing right now, V-Rally 3, this might also be one of the best looking games on the Game Boy Advance. It's just that that's not a very big barrier to beat, you know. When it comes to games that try to look more realistic, this one might be the most realistic looking game on the Game Boy Advance even. Because the Game Boy Advance, most games don't try to go for this. But yeah, at the same time, if you ask me, I would prefer like the art style of things like them, for example, the Mega Man Zero games or the Castlevania ones, right? Ridge Race looked good, but wasn't a fan of the controls. Yeah, I know, like, every time that I praise Ridge Racer, I am aware that I'm in the minority that thinks that Ridge Racer is one of the best Ridge Racer games, but I really think it is. Probably because it's one of the most complex Ridge Racer games in the series in terms of control, because essentially, well, 1 and Revolution are the classic ones, so... Oh, what the fuck? Okay, that was something. That was a 360, but it wasn't any sort of 360. It was a 360 in the air. Wow. Alright. Like, the funniest part is that that seemed like it wasn't even an optimal. Like, that seemed like it was fast. Obviously, I didn't do it on purpose, but... like, it feels like you might as well have done it on purpose, because it's the... Oh, Great Britain, okay. So I'm gonna visit you, Sunshine, apparently. So yeah, this season does have completely new tracks, which means that the next season probably will also have new tracks, which means that I probably will have to play them too. I mean, not like I have to. If I don't want to, I don't need to play them, but I would like to explore all the content the game has. And considering that after this one I'm most likely not gonna unlock any other cars, it might be the last, like the next one might be the last one. But at least when it comes to time, I think that I do have enough time to engage with one more season. It's just that it's probably gonna take the stream to the same length as yesterday's stream. Like, it's most likely gonna be like a 3-hour-and-a-half stream. I mean, I don't mind. I hope you enjoy the weather. Well, it seems that so far it's pretty accurate, with the fact that the first stage that we enter and it's already raining, so I think the developers definitely did their homework. Yeah, this is Great Raiden, okay? It is. It certainly is. But I don't think that the rain changes the controls too much, though. In fact, nothing really changed the controls that much in this game. They are mostly the same regardless of the surface. Got him. That was pretty free, apparently. Like it tends to be, I guess. What I can tell you though is that I really look forward to V-Rally 4, because differently from this game, it is an actual modern game. And that's also the reason why I want the temperature to lower tomorrow, because I don't want my PC to suffer while trying to run it. I mean, my PC is good enough that even with heat it shouldn't suffer running a game from 2018, but I would prefer if it was, you know, easier on my PC, you know? And I also gotta say that even though I'm probably not gonna do it, I feel very tempted by Assetto Corsa Rally. Like, I know that getting it will be a mistake, but man, it's like there is a devil in my shoulder telling me to get that game. How about we Rally 3 on PS2? Does that game exist? I thought this game was only on the Game Boy Advance. Is there really a V-Rally 3 on PS2? I didn't know that. Maybe I should have played that one instead of this one now that I think about it. Because yeah, it's probably the port of that one. But I was sure that V-Rally 3 was only this one. I should have checked, I guess. Because now it's possible that that V-Rally 3 is most likely very similar to this one. And that I just fucked up. Oh, you have it on PS2, yeah. Damn. So that was kind of a mistake then. Oh, you haven't played it yet? I should have paid more attention then. Guess that was because usually if you have a game that is in two consoles and one of them is a handheld one, you probably don't want to play the handheld port. But I had no idea. Like, I'm gonna check after the stream, because I wouldn't want to repeat the same thing as here. Like, if the game is largely the same as this one, just with obviously better graphics and physics, I wanna believe, then I don't think it's very worth playing. But now that you mention it, I will have to check. I will actually have to check. Well, to be fair, this is a game that I wanted to play for some time, simply because I was curious about the idea of playing a 3D rally game on the Game Boy Advance. But so what I'm trying to say is that I most likely would have played this one regardless. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Who knows? Yeah, that's fine. So the time that says best time, is that the time that the second place always gets? Like, is that the time that I'm supposed to beat? Because it kind of looked like it on the previous one. Like, there was a 10-second difference, which was also a 10-second difference with the other thing. Well, another thing that I will have to see of PS2 V-Rally 3 is if it has like if it has good compatibility with the emulator. You could probably think it does, but keep in mind that last time I checked, Ridge Racer 5 still had issues with the textures if you played it on hardware mode. maybe they already fixed it since then, but you never know. Like the PS2 emulator is one of those that it will have trouble when you least expect it, so I should remain cautious. But I guess it will be the right choice instead of playing 4 right away. It's just that I didn't even know it existed. In fact, you know that I say that YouTube says that V-Rally 2 was released in 2003? It really makes me wonder if there was a port of V-Rally 2 released on that year that I might not be aware of. But not that I know of. But I will have to investigate further. Just that it's been so long since I investigated the V-Rally games that I really thought... Like, what I remember is that this one was the only one that was called V-Rally 3. Ridge Racer 5 still has texture issues with the cars thing. After all this time they still have it, that's fucked up. I mean, at least on the right side is that if you play it on software mode, you don't have that issue. But the fact that such an old-ass error still persists is fucked up. Oh, and that reminds me that more than a week passed and I think nobody gave a shit about the post that I did about Ridge Racer 3D on the 3DS emulator Discord. And I didn't just post it there, I also posted it in GitHub, and no. I mean, I don't expect them to be instant with their answer, but it doesn't seem like there is any interest in doing that, so I'm afraid that the most likely scenario is that it's just not gonna happen, you know. But it's okay. It's whatever. I already assume as a Ridge Racer fan that probably one of the only ones that cares about Ridge Racer, so it is what it is. Can't do much about it. Yeah, something tells me that the second place actually has the time that appears as best time. So you essentially already know how fast you need to be. Like, you don't need to speculate, assuming I'm right, of course. Maybe I'm still wrong. We're going to Germany. Okay. Sure. Right here we're doing a tour through all of Europe, it seems. This also reminds me that I think Crash Nitro Kart is a game that, well, obviously has the, I think, GameCube version, but it also has like a mobile version that is essentially like this game, something that you probably don't have much of a reason to play. Okay, that's a shame. It is what it is. Damn, I really regret not having checked that earlier. The fact that there is a PS2 version. It might be possible since the rights are most likely gonna be the exact same, that in the PS2 version you also have the same cars that you have here. I mean, when it comes to what cars to include, it's basically about having the rights to the cars more than whatever they want to put in the game, right? If they already have the rights to the cars for one version, they are also gonna have it for the other version, right? Something that I'm surprised is that at least the time that I look for V-Rally 3, I think the first result that came up was this Game Boy Advance version. You will think that the PlayStation 2 version will be more popular, right? Actually quite close to not making it in first place here, huh? Was it an AI suggestion? No, I usually ignore whatever the AI will suggest, so certainly wasn't. Also, I think that at this point we can already confirm that the top time is indeed the time to beat and the time that the second place will always get. So yeah, I guess that... Yeah, the wiki is the best thing. Yeah, I know. It's just that since I look up like Wikipedia a long time ago, my memory assume that the only version of V-Rally 3 was Game Boy Advance. But it turns out that my memory, I guess to nobody's surprise, it was wrong, you know? My memory was pretty wrong. It is what it is. I mean, I don't mind playing it tomorrow at all, you know? All I hope at least is that difficulty-wise, at least it gives me more of a challenge than this one. So I will assume that the physics should be better. So I will assume that accidents are just as dangerous as they normally are in the other games, you know. If I do play another season here, I will probably want to pick the Peugeot 206 probably, because I already used the Ford Focus and the Citroën on the other mode, and the only other one remaining will be the Lancer Evo that I don't think I prefer, so I guess that will be the idea. It will definitely give more of a challenge by the looks of it. Yeah, I hope. I definitely hope. It should also look better, so at least even if it's an easy game, it probably will be very nice to look at it, you know. But this is all assuming that it runs well on PS2. So I will have to investigate that first. And by that I mean that it runs well on a PS2 emulator. If that's the case, I don't mind playing that on the next stream. Something that I'm assuming here is that differently from the previous game, I think that this game probably does recycle a lot of the assets that are used for one location into another location. Most likely gonna be the case. Has a nice art style and looks to run at 60 frames per second native. Yeah, that's most likely assuming that you play the NTSC version, because if you play the PAL version, it most likely is gonna be capped at 50. I can just simply play the NTSC version. Well, for these games, both the PS1 games and this one, the version that I'm playing is the European one. For the PS2 one, I guess I could make an exception. Question is if the next location or the next location here will be the last one of the championship, because the previous, well, I guess season rather than championship, had 5 locations. I don't know if this one will have 5 or if it will have more. Because if it has more than 5, I can definitely not do another one today. But we will see how many it has. But at least the good thing is that today is Saturday, so I could stay for quite a while, you know. I mean, stay up for quite a while. That shouldn't be a problem. Oh, it started to rain? Or was it always raining and I'm a moron? Like it wasn't raining before. And not like it makes a difference, but it's a cute little detail. It's gonna be an almost 13-second difference there. So yeah, these guys, just like in the previous season, they don't stand a chance. Just that they have a lower difference, but it's still quite big. And then we're going to Kenya. So Kenya was the first track of the previous season. I wonder if there's any location that we still haven't seen, or if these are all the locations in the game. Hard to tell. I'm doing quite badly right now. Wouldn't be surprised if the checkpoint calls me out. Well, kinda. I mean, a 1 second difference tends to be a little bit low, but could have been worse. I was looking at the wrong direction, or rather I was steering at the wrong direction. For some reason here my turbo is suffering a lot. Don't know why. Usually my turbo doesn't get too damaged, but I guess it is getting damaged here. Oh, it actually is getting very damaged. That's a problem because this is only the first stage, you know? Like I still cannot repair it. But I still won, but damn. What happened with it? Promise that if those damages affect the performance of the car, that obviously will affect the speed, so that might be a problem. I mean, it is a problem. I don't know why. Pretty much the worst thing that can break in a game like this one, where the handling doesn't seem that important simply because of how standardized it is, right? But losing speed is something that there's not much you can do against, right? This one might actually make me lose a lot of time. Well, not a lot, but it's certainly not going well. Well, if the damages are completely random when you hit the car against something, then it's pretty unlucky, I guess, that the one thing that got damaged is the turbo. You see, now essentially it seems that I'm gonna... like, my car is gonna behave like a lower category car. Which, yeah, it's way less than ideal. I wonder if it's gonna cost me the first place. I mean, of the stage for sure, but I mean of the current standings of the location. I mean, when it comes to the championship, I'm obviously guaranteed to have win it, but no, I mean of the location. Oh, and this will be... I will fall behind by quite a bit here. Well, 2 seconds. Not that bad, I guess, but yeah. The turbo getting damaged fucked me up a lot. Okay, let's get it repaired. And I almost couldn't repair everything. For some reason my car got kinda destroyed in those 2 stages. I don't really know why. I don't feel like I did anything out of the ordinary, but I guess the game disagrees. Maybe it's because of the champs, the fact that I generally ignore them and went full speed. It's possible. You'll feel that it was a little bit of an exaggeration though. So out of the corner. Hey, for some reason it seems that here the first thing to get damaged is the turbo. I mean, if you look at the right side of the screen, the only thing that it's in a more yellowish color is the turbo. Seems like they gave me an expired turbo for this location or what? Because it wasn't struggling that much on the other ones, you know. Though as I said, it's not something that really overly worries me, because I know I will win regardless. But yeah, pretty curious that it's getting so fucked here. As you will think that with the champs, the one thing that is gonna suffer the most is obviously the suspension, but no, the suspension is just chilling. No problems at all, it's just there, doing its thing. And yet again the turbo is it's getting yellow. There's something about Kenya that the turbo doesn't like, I guess. So it did not happen in any other location. And keep in mind that the rest of the components are doing well. Like, I don't think they are perfect, but that's a very nice green. So it's only the turbo that is getting absolutely destroyed by Kenya for some reason. Oh well. It is what it is. Got it. Alright, so there's only one more stage remaining, and that's the end of this location, and theoretically the end of the season, assuming it's the same amount of locations as the previous one. Which I don't see why it wouldn't be the case, but it's not like it has to be the case, right? It's almost too bad, but no, it's fine. Also can tell that there are some places that have like a lot to process that the Game Boy Advance struggles a little bit with them. Yeah, that's fine. Damn, really? Well, in the previous stage I got a decent enough advantage that shouldn't matter whatever I get here. I mean, was in first place, but only by a little. Okay, so... Oh, nice. The lights flicker. That's pretty funny. Yeah, don't worry. We're fine. So I'm assuming this is the end of the season. Is it? No, it isn't, actually. So the season, well, that means that if there is another season, I'm not gonna bother doing it today, because it will take way too long to do it. It pains me to know that there most likely will be another season. But honestly, just judging by the... I don't think I care, personally. I mean, as long as I didn't miss any location, I don't think I care too much. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to see all of the tracks and such, but I don't think that it's something that I should be very concerned with. Yeah, I guess if the game was more engaging, maybe, but I think I'm fine. It would be at least nice if the game was more transparent with how many rallies you have in one of these championships, because it doesn't really describe that at all. Differently from the previous game where it told you exactly everything that you could expect. But here it really doesn't. So why do I have such a big advantage compared to the other guys? I guess I kind of lost a little bit of an advantage at the end, but that's still quite a lot, it seems. And this one is a shorter track. Well, if every location has to take place on this season, that means that Sweden will be one of the locations left. And it's not the only one, but what was the other one? Because on the first season you had Kenya, Finland, Sweden, France, and I'm missing one. There was one I don't remember. It's fine. Maybe it was one of the ones that already appear on this season, but I quite honestly don't remember at all. Yeah, my bad. I don't remember, and again, the game doesn't help by not telling you beforehand either, so... Okay. Fully repaired.
3, 2.
Something that you can rest assured is that about the PS2 version of V-Rally 3 is that it will be a completely different game. Even if it has the same content in terms of brands and like the name of the location of the tracks, it certainly will not be the same when it comes to how it plays, and probably not even on track layouts. It's usually with this type of things, like when it comes to ports that are so different because they are from completely different consoles that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, what you usually see is you know, something that is made by different development teams, even if I guess some developers can overlap. Like, I don't think that this game was made by the same development team than the PS2 game was made. I mean, all of this can simply be coping to, you know, to not feel bad for playing this game instead of the PS2 one, but now I have to play it, you know. It wouldn't feel good to play V-Rally 4 if there is like a real version of V-Rally 3 that I haven't played, you know. That would be bad. And that was 2 minutes. Like perfectly 2 minutes. Nothing more, nothing less. Almost scripted.
2, 1, go!
If there is indeed another season after this one thing that at least I'll be rest assured, since I'm most likely not gonna play it, is that the handling is not gonna be any different, because any of the cars that are locked right now in this mode are the same as this one. They are the same category, so even if the tracks are different, I don't really think that I'm missing anything out of the ordinary, you know. For some reason in this location I'm obliterating my opponents. Like in the previous one it was a lot more balanced, but in this one they don't stand a chance. They are not even close. I'm not sure exactly why, but I guess I'll take it. Oh, that was an actual very good hairpin that I did there. I think that that's most likely because the terrain here is supposed to be asphalt. So everything that I do is essentially, well, now it's no longer asphalt, I guess. I think it turned into gravity. But it seems that it's a mixture of both, for the most part. So is this the final stage, or have I not been paying attention? I can tell if this is stage 5 or stage 3. I think it's a stage 5, isn't it? How to find out. I haven't been paying attention simply because there's not much of a reason to pay attention, you know? I think it is the last one. Yeah, it was a stage 5. So is there anything else, or is that where it ends? Oh, we go to Sweden. So we're essentially, yeah, going to every location that in the game here. I wonder how long it's gonna be, because I have no clue. Though I do think that Sweden was the final location on the previous season, right? Maybe it's also gonna be the case here. See, I remember the comment that mentioned that the temperatures were minus 40 degrees, and I was like, that's basically unlivable. So it might be the same one. Well, it might be the same one in the sense that it might be the last one as well here. Or at least I hope. Was quite the jump. I mean, I guess one way for this game to be engaging is if you needed to do manual transmission, but like, yeah, that will be a little bit too hard. Especially in rally games. Like, manual transmission is obviously way harder than automatic in no matter which game. But I guess with the exception of Daytona USA, I guess, yeah. With the exception of that specific game. And I guess Scud Race as well, but aside from that, picking manual transmission is always harder, and like, it's way harder, especially in rally, because in rally the shift has to be made very, very fast, which is the reason why I think most rally cars don't even have the usual H-shape gearbox. What they have is the like a sequential switcher, right? Like, it's like a huge lever that you move to one side to downshift, and you move to the other side to upshift. Because the changes have to be so fast that I don't think that your brain will be able to handle an H-shape gearbox. So they use that. They use the like a simple sequential shifter instead. And well, obviously here I'm using a gamepad. But what I'm trying to say is that the hard part is that the shifts happen very, very quickly and very often. So it's even harder than in other racing games, because you have to be constantly paying attention and reacting to it. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was gonna get harder, but if anything, it was the opposite. Like, is that this got easier the further we went. That's fucked up.
2, 1, go!
Was an actual good break. If I hadn't used the brakes there, I would have gone against the wall right away. Easily even.
Checkpoint.
These are some nasty hairpins. I also wonder if after I'm done with this game and I try to look at something else, if I'm gonna see pixels. You know that getting used to such low resolution like this is probably not free. I think that is not gonna happen for free, most likely. It's fine. Okay. So for some reason this game was either published or sponsored by Atari. I don't know how Atari is even relevant or was relevant in 2002. Like I thought after... Well, technically it's still a company, I'm pretty sure it's still around nowadays. It's just hard to believe that they will publish a game like this that has well, absolutely nothing to do with what they usually do, I guess. I think that at this point in time, the only iconic thing that Atari owns, and I'm not even sure if they are the ones that own it and not another company, but it will be Space Invaders. I don't even know if they are the ones that hold the rights to it. Might be. So notice that even when you don't use the brakes, it kind of feels that if you steer a lot, it's kind of like the car brakes by itself. Like in some other games you will just normally go straight to the wall. In this game it's kind of like steering a lot activates like a secret brake that happens no matter what you do. So that makes the whole thing even easier than it already would be, you know? And you already seen that there are no options that change anything like that or anything at all. So, well, in fact, when you look at the option that says control setup, I'm pretty sure that it only shows you an image of the controls. Like, it doesn't even let you change the controls if you wanted to. It's pretty messed up. That's a huge jump. It's fine. As you can see on the right side, my car was completely fine. Like no damage whatsoever from that gigantic jump. Because realistically, well, obviously from a jump like that, the car will get destroyed no matter what. But if you wanted to add damage, like into the game from something like that, the most realistic thing is that the suspension will get damaged with a jump like that. But no, it doesn't work that way. It really feels like the damage is completely random to what part of the car it decides to hit, you know? In 14 seconds, dude. And I don't know if this is the final location, but if it is, that was supposedly the final stage of the final location. And it was that easy regardless, so yeah, that is that. And well, you unlock the remaining 4 manufacturers that were not there. Which these are essentially the ones that next one is gonna be Pro Shot. Are the ones that are the other cars of the heavyweight category. So my question here is, like, I'm gonna end the game here, but the one thing I want to see is what happens if I go again. Like, I pick a car like this one. Where are you gonna take me? Is it gonna be the same season? Is it gonna be another one? Like, if it starts in Finland, it most likely will be the same season. Yeah, sure, sign the contract. No, it actually starts in Germany, so is this a completely different season altogether? That's fucked up. Like, should I do it? Mostly, you know what I'm curious about? What happens after you're done with this one? That's what I'm curious about. This will be so long if I were to do it right now. Not to mention, I don't know how long. Okay, no, I'm gonna do something which is simply seeing how hard the times are to beat. If the times are as trivial to beat as in the previous one, it can suck a cock, I can tell you that. Like, whatever happens at the end is something that is not worth the hassle to go through this shit. Like, if it is a harder difficulty, I guess it will be interesting. But I don't know. We will see when we pass the checkpoint.
Checkpoint.
6-second difference on the first fucking checkpoint, dude. Yeah, no, it certainly won't be any harder than the one with the Subaru Impreza, that's for sure. Yeah, this is something that I don't think I will bother finishing. I think that I'm fine with this, you know. Even though I'm definitely curious to see what happens at like the end of this season, like what the game says, since there is no card to unlock anymore. Like, will it show like a congratulations screen or something? The problem is that you can see that the difficulty is as trivial as in the previous 2 seasons. You know? Like, that's the thing, it's not anything out of the ordinary. That's the biggest turn off. If at least these were harder times, it will require me to fully focus, but here it's just simply the same shit. And even if they are different tracks, I don't think it's worth doing. Like, I think I'm just done here. Yeah, I think it's for the best. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it here. I don't care about whatever will be left, like whatever the final season, or if it even is the final season, because I don't know, the game doesn't tell you. So I personally will just leave this game here. I will investigate though about the PS2 V-Rally 3 game. That is the one that I should have played instead of this one. But yeah, I think that this one I'm just leaving it here because I felt like the whole game to me was an absolute snooze fest. Like, way too easy and nothing to pay attention to because it's so easy to handle, right? Though I guess, as I say before, it's commendable that it's on the Game Boy Advance and it looks the way it looks, but that's the only compliment I can give this game. So yeah, well, I don't guarantee playing that V-Rally game for PS2 on the next stream. I will try, but, well, I will try to see if I can make it work, but even if I make it work, I might want to take a little bit of a break from V-Rally and then afterwards continue it, you know, at some other time. But yeah, thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream, so have a good one and take care.